everyone. This year was really exciting in ways that you might recognize, but also a lot of ways that you don't have visual access to. But I've got some things to do to close out a semester, so walk with me while I tell you about my year. I do want you to stick around to the end of the video. It's not just a gimmick. I have a question, and you can skip ahead to get the question. I'm not saying you can't do that, but you'll leave out some context. So, I want your answer to a question, but kind of technically have to watch the whole thing to understand and have a good opinion. But yeah, let's clean the shops. This year I got monetized. Jalopnik promoted my video covering the Batmobile, and then YouTube picked it up and shared it with so many of you, and now I'm making a little bit of money from YouTube. I can remember all the things I was doing when I hit those milestones. I was coaching a baseball practice, we were still indoors, when I started getting a mass influx of comment notifications. I was in this shop when I got the notification that I just crossed 1,000 subscribers, and it was crazy. Up until that point, I had made a YouTube video once a week for a little over a year. And then it clicked, I guess. But the Batmobile video took a lot out of me. Though the reason for that wasn't because making those videos is hard, far from it. Making those videos is some of the easiest and most rewarding work I do. Until I started to take my work seriously. Originally, I had that last sentence written as until I started taking my job seriously. But I felt that wasn't genuine to the experience that hopefully you all can share. When I was working as an engineer, I would excuse myself from staying late by saying that my wife pays more than this job does. It's a funny thing to say, and it's also true. The value my wife brings to my life is infinitely more rewarding than any monetary salary or benefit. But the concept of applying yourself to whatever brings you most value is infinitely replicable. A couple months before the Batmobile video, I got hired to coach baseball. Almost as soon as the monetizing video got released, the season picked up. Games started the following month, and I was waking up at 4:30 a.m. 3 days a week to work out, teach shop classes, then drive to another high school to coach until 6 to 9, almost every weekday. I continued to try making videos, but the number speaks for itself, and there were a handful of videos I made that you'll never see because they were presentations and applications for grants and other opportunities. Still, it wasn't close to once a week at all. In trying, I learned a thing about myself last spring. That I can really only try to excel at 3 things at one time. I've been chewing on that knowledge the rest of the year and come to realize that it doesn't even include all of the basic things I need to center and stabilize my life. Now that number is going to be different for everyone, but if any of my students are watching, or even just people who respect me enough to try out some things, I want you to do a personal inventory. Meaning take inventory of the things that you're doing. What is giving you greatest value? What is stabilizing you? And what are you trying to get good at? If you've taken on responsibilities that don't contribute to these or make one of those things suffer, then get rid of it. YouTube is a hobby. Even if it turned into something more, it won't replace the direct impact I have on my students or the flexibility I have to see my children grow up. Making gears and gasoline or even extreme goals like Chris Fix money isn't what I'm trying to do. I like teaching and I think I can get really good at it if I try. YouTube is just a supplement and I think that's a healthy enough relationship for me. You'd think after baseball season ended that would remove a stress and allow me to get back to making videos. There's more you don't know. I'm also taking classes at Purdue in order to be licensed to teach more in my content domain. Because of my narrow work in the engineering and construction industry, I can only teach a few classes per the Department of Education in Indiana. If I get licensed for engineering and technology education, then I'll be able to teach more of the courses that I want to teach. I've been taking 6 credits every semester since summer and will likely continue to do so for several more. After the spring semester, I'll be licensed, but I'll have a lot of courses under my belt already and should be able to continue my education to get a master's. If I get a master's, then I'll get bumped to pay scale. And I'm all about getting more money if school is paid for. Over the summer, I was trying to get really good at two things: produce course load and developing gamified curriculum for my classroom. My students now have main campaigns, side quests, quest journals, tiered rewards, and I'm excited for how my curriculum and classroom will continue to grow. I let myself get by with just the two things. I wasn't going to the gym over the summer, I had hit my weight goals in June, but really I went down to two things because baseball season was hard. I don't think I'll be able to coach again until my actual kids are at an age where it makes sense. And what I really needed to focus on was figuring out what things would contribute to stable growth in the areas that mattered. And now we're at the semester that we just ended, where I've gone back to the gym, I'm in the classroom, I'm taking classes at Purdue, and I'm writing grants that are actually getting funded. And I killed it this semester. I usually fail 40% of my students. That number is going to seem inflated to some, and not enough for others. You don't need context, just recognize that's the average over the past 6 semesters. This past semester, though, I've only had to fail 22% of my students. The gamified curriculum is working, it's more engaging, and I have some real buy-in. I passed both my Purdue courses with A's, continuing my post-bachelor education at a 4.0 GPA. The work I've done in the Purdue classroom has been directly translated to what I'm doing in my shop classes, and so it's not just credits for credit's sake. I'm getting my strength back in the gym, and I feel a lot better than I did at the start of the semester. My department has been awarded $11,000 due to grants I've written. All of that while exploring how I center and stabilize my life, take care of myself, teacher burnout, and my family. And in the background, there's this constant lingering need for me to get back on the YouTube production schedule. That's not going to happen in the exact way that it was last year. In fact, it might never get back to a once-a-week schedule. I don't think that's sustainable for the goals I have with the channel. But here's what is going through my mind and what I have progressed through and need your help with. I have a brand identity that I want to cultivate, gamifying the shop experience, and so I've done a couple of wood projects from World of Warcraft, even started a channel with the goal of adding a Star Wars box and Dune furniture, but then what happens to this channel? Do I run 2 channels with the preface that I'll only be able to promise 1 video a month? And that's the goal, that I'll be able to make 1 video a month. Videos like the one I made for the Batmobile were inspired from channels like Sideways and Breadsword. Long periods of time between releases about content I like. But build videos have started to be more influenced by Chromatic Garage, Restoration Station, and Padula Studio, who all have such an amazing work and style, with Chromatic Garage having an intense production schedule. So what do? Promise that I, Josh White, not even the channels that we're talking about, will make 1 video a month under 2 channels, and my audience will just have to wait and see which one it is? That's where I need your help. Are my current viewers comfortable with me mashing together Cinemotive Garage and World of Shopcraft? From what you understand of my work and my plans, goals, and vision, would I be able to merge the two and still grow? Cinemotive Shopcraft is what my mind is thinking right now. I have such a small read on my audience that my opinion, which is that I think it could work, in the long run, doesn't matter. So, what do you want to see? I'm excited to read your thoughts in the comments. Hopefully you enjoyed the semester's cleanup. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you all in the next one.